In this chapter, we will continue discussing about Rwanda-specific topics, only this time about the safari. On your agenda, you will most likely be having a time to experience the safari. It was a very lovely time, and there was definitely a lot of moments that I felt like I was living in a movie, kind of like Lion King. This is not a movie. That's why your safety and well-being is #1 priority. I don't even want to pet dogs because I don't know what kind of germs, let alone if they've had their vaccinations. So when I was there, the weather was actually very reasonable. It was actually very hot most of the time. However, there was another moment. It actually started to rain. Everyone had been hoping and praying for a rainy day to happen. If and when it rains, the best thing to have is a poncho. And if you remember when I had talked about in the beginning, why ponchos are handy to have instead of bringing some things like a mountain jacket, which I would not actually recommend because mountain jackets are too bulky. Another something that I can also recommend is just a lightweight jacket that's just a basic zipper, or even a UPF 50+ sun shirt that can help reflect against sun. If you are there and if it's sunny, I can also recommend using goggles and also a Middle Eastern scarf known as a shamag. I actually used this combination together and it was very helpful. As we were driving around different parts of the area to pass by all the animals and also just wherever it was that we were going. But there were also the other rules like this. Do not get out of the vehicle unless if we are permitted to do so or there's a certain part where we are allowed to step out. If you see an animal passing by, don't approach them. Because as I said, this is not a movie and this is not a time to play cute with animals. Those animals you face, even though they may be satisfying to see on TV, that animal could actually be your worst enemy. And that's another reason why people say some to certain animals are nicer than certain humans. When I have traveled other parts of the country, passing by wild animals can be a satisfying thing to see, but they are not to be touched, and you should not get close to them, because if you do, there will be a consequence. You might face legal action, but the other worst, you could be a dead man to that wild animal. So my advice to you, don't pet the dogs, but also when you see the wild animals, just kind of imagine, okay, they are far over there. Just take a picture or two and then just walk away. Someone in our group by the name of Joven, here comes the funny moment. He sort of walked this way and he got yelled at by one of the other people, just like, hey, you're not supposed to be over there, get back. So then he had to run back. These animals are not to be friendly dogs. These animals are very deadly and they will kill just about anyone who gets in their way.